All right, let's talk about what CAS data application platform future is, and what are we thinking about from a vision and strategy standpoint. Again, my name is Chaitanya Pydimukkala, part of the product management team, leading the data integration portfolio here at Google. Let's just dive right in. Right, there are some challenges when it comes to data integration. So, the three biggest things, and if you have seen the evolution of different data management systems and integration challenges, these kind of have stayed um, the same, and sometimes they have even compounded because of the fragmented landscape in the data management. First, I think we all know that it's extremely hard to find the right data in an enterprise. So if you want to look for the data, you don't have a single place where you can go look for the data, and that means that integration becomes all the more complex. The second challenge that we face in the market and in the space is that the technology landscape is always evolving, so it's never stagnant. So for example, you can go back and look at the mainframe days. There are still companies that are running their primary business on mainframes. Then we saw the whole evolution of databases, data warehouses, data warehouse appliances, big data systems, and then now we are actually seeing another wave of cloud native data management systems. So the technology landscape is evolving, and the way you process the data also continuously evolve with this whole evolution. So different programming languages, different ways to process the data, in real time, in batch, in continuously, for operational intelligence. This is also evolving. The other important thing that a lot of times customer do suffer is ensuring the quality of the data, transparency and traceability of the data, because they are very, very complex problems. So if you are looking at any landscape, you have a multitude of systems where the mission critical data is spread around, and in order to find the right good data that actually you can use to get insights is always challenging. There is no transparency in where you can get the data, who is accessing the data, where is the data coming from, what is happening to the data. So these are like the foundational challenges that are faced by any enterprise today who are dealing with data. What we have, at Google, what we have done is, we are actually putting a lot of weight behind our cask data application platform framework. Now CDAP has been around for a long time. It was actually created with a vision to enable anybody who was trying to build data applications easily, without having to worry about the underlying system that they are actually building it on. For example, 10 years ago when Hadoop was really big, there were a lot of customers and users who were trying to build big data applications on Hadoop, and then lo and behold, at some point Hadoop became really obsolete. And when that happened, the challenge is that when you build these applications that are really tied and not decoupled with the underlying systems, and they are actually coupled with the implementation, it's very hard to move forward. And when a new evolution happens in the technology space, it's not easy to port this application. So CDAP was created by the founders, this with this in mind, the key principle in mind, that we need to keep it open. We need to make sure that all the applications that customers are going to build are portable. So when I say applications, I'm talking about primarily around integration applications. So we have taken the same vision, and we are continuing with the same vision, as we are actually one of the biggest sponsors for this open source project. We want to provide customers with a open source based enterprise data integration platform, and make sure that this is a single platform that can give a comprehensive data delivery capabilities, with activation of metadata, and with AI and ML assist. And on top of it, we want to make sure that the entire platform is microservices enabled, so that you can actually build and scale integration applications. Now, the platform will shield you from all the technology specific implementation implementations, and then it'll allow you to seamlessly transition into whatever technology you want. And I'll talk about a little bit more about this. So our vision has stayed intact. We haven't changed our vision. We want to ensure that we continue to provide, every single user and enable every single customer to be able to build and scale this large data integration applications. Now, when you go back and take a look at, data delivery patterns and how there are, various data delivery patterns that are being used by users and customers. First is, there is bulk ingestion. Typically this is a pattern that customers tend to use for data lakes on big data systems, for to enable data science use cases where you are doing large scale ingestion of not just critical transaction data, but there is also a lot of processing of social and interaction data. So that's the, one of the delivery patterns. Then the second and third delivery patterns are kind of similar, ETL and ELT. I know we kind of use it, um, you know um, in various different contexts, but if you look at it, there is this pattern is actually to support building of enterprise data warehouses, data marts, data lakes, and what you are trying to do is you're extracting the data, you're transforming the data. Sometimes you are transforming the data in the system where the data is being extracted. Sometimes you are actually pushing down these transformation capabilities to the underlying data management systems or the target systems to actually optimize for cost and performance. And you also need a visual mechanism to actually do this. Now, you want to, one of the key things with the CDAP platform that when we started looking at closely is we want to support all these patterns and all these data delivery patterns in a single platform, so you can actually build an ETL pipeline within the CDAP platform. But you could also build very specific push down capabilities and ELT based mappings within CDAP platform. Like you can actually take a join and push it down. Then the other two modes are on the real time. One is replication, and I want to really define what replication is and what streaming is. In traditional sense, when we talked about replication, data replication stands for change, capturing the changes from the underlying operational databases. So that's what customers do: is take this mission critical systems, take the change data, and then move it in real time for a lot to actually light up a lot of different use cases. They can be data consolidation, it can be operational reporting. Some customers actually do really do the database migrations with this. There are active passive systems that are getting built, but replication is one of those data delivery modes that a platform should enable, so that you can actually seamlessly stream data and the log changes based on the changes that are happening on the operational database, and stream it into another operational database if you need it, or even a big data system. So data replication is, again, going back, it is real time, but it is mostly to do with mission critical operational data. Then you also have this capability around streaming. Now streaming is, nowadays I think there is a lot more data that is actually very very fluid, and it is always moving. What I mean by that is, typically if you go back and look at your operational mission critical data, it changes, but new orders might come in, but there is a constant feed of other information that's coming in through either social networking sites or your IoT systems, your edge systems, where a lot of this data is being streamed in, and it provides a lot of insights into how your business is running, how your operations are running, how your what are your customer satisfaction layer levels. Are there any challenges with the supply chain systems? So all this data should be collected and should be able, yeah, and the system should be able to analyze this streaming data in real time for operational intelligence. So that's another data delivery mode that the CDAP platform supports. And finally, when I talk about bulk data movement, it's just that it's not for ingest, but you want to be able to move data in batch for from applications, from relational databases, from flat files, either to actually create a staging location to actually power the downstream data warehousing or data mart use cases, or just to make sure that the data is available to various stakeholders within the organization. So one of the key things that we have done with the CDAP platform is to ensure that you are not looking at different tools for each of these patterns. Rather, you're actually looking at a single platform that supports all these data delivery modes. If you go back and look at what kind of capabilities does the CDAP platform offer, so one of the things that we have done is CDAP data integration capabilities are built for cloud, hybrid, and multi-cloud environments. And I call enterprises always, because you can actually operate CDAP at enterprise scale. There are a lot of enterprises that are actually using the CDAP platform to build into integration applications or integrate all kinds of data or democratize the data and make it available. So you can take this platform and you can obviously run it on Google Cloud. Um, you can also take the same platform and run it on your on premises. You can run it in multi cloud environments, hybrid cloud environments, and that was the intent. So we didn't want to log down to a particular infrastructure, but give the flexibility to the user to be able to take this and deploy it anywhere. Then the other important capability that we have in the product is we create user experiences for various user personas for various to actually enable various different use cases. What I mean by that is the same platform can be used by your traditional ETL developer, or a data engineer, or a citizen integrator, or an operations person, to be able to actually solve a particular use case, whether it is data warehousing or streaming analytics or data marts or data lakes, with a single platform. So you can actually take this platform and solve all these use cases, but the platform's experience is also very different depending on what your user persona is. So, I'll talk about user personas in a little bit in detail in the next slide. But I think, the key thing is you don't have to go to another user experience, another tool to actually, enable a different persona. You can actually stay in the same platform to enable all these personas. We also have ensured that we are offering comprehensive connectivity capabilities. Now, this doesn't seem like a big differentiator, but one of the key challenges a lot of the customers have is every customer, every user is different. And what I mean by that is everyone has some sort of different variation in terms of where they store the data, what their data management systems are, whether it's a different type of database or different type of application. Now, what we have tried to do is we have built more than 200 connectors to all these systems, including mission critical systems, the social systems, the mainframes, applications, and you can actually use these connectors to connect to any of these systems and to deliver the data in any delivery mode. So you can actually stream data for databases, or you can actually bring in data in batch from a lot of different databases applications and move them. Then the other important thing that we have done in the product is the product actually, one of the key things, it's not the product but the platform itself. What we have done is we have made sure that we have embedded AI and ML capabilities without having users to think about what AI and ML is. What I mean by that is, one of the challenges that we have is all, this is a common problem. All the customers, and all the, there is a lot of technology evolution that is happening, and you will always have a shortage of resources and skills. So now, we are using a lot of, everything is around AI and ML, and in order to actually go and hand code this AI ML into a platform is not going to be easy. So one of the things that we have done within the platform is we actually enable AI ML in the background so that you can actually do lineage of information. You can actually discover, and we can actually do some semantic inference of what kind of information that you are dealing with without having to go back and code. And we also offer various capabilities around taking voice and turning it into data, taking, processing images at scale. All that is built into it without having to write a single line of code. Then finally, I think one of the things that we also enable is you can use your CDAP as a tool, and it's absolutely fine, and say I want to use it for ETL, building pipelines. But you could also actually go and start building your custom integration applications, which means you don't want to use the user experience. Everything is microservices enabled. We have SDKs for everything. You can actually say that I'm going to create a new user experience for my customers to be able to solve a particular use case. And I think that's where the power of CDAP comes in, is when you actually look at, the platform itself. It allows you to actually extend the platform and add things and provide new user experiences, so that you are actually solving for your use case and not trying to solve for the generic use case at all, right? And I think that's where, the capabilities come into play. Let's talk about personas, right? I did touch upon the personas earlier. One of the key things is, that happens is there are a lot of different various personas in an enterprise. And, you can have citizen integrators who are actually doing ad hoc integrations based on, building a line of business data mart or trying to analyze the data, to a data engineer and a ETL developer who are doing comprehensive integrations between complex systems and transforming the data to load into enterprise data warehouses or building data lakes, or to a data analyst who actually is visually looking at the data and trying to see how I can actually change this data to ensure the quality is good. Can I add some rules to the data to actually transform the data in a visual fashion? And lastly, I think, there is also data operators whose primary role is to ensure that the data is well governed, the end-to-end data lifecycle, the integration lifecycle is maintained properly, and it also is meeting the SLA, and they are able to manage costs. So I think one of the key things that we do with CDAP, it supports all these personas easily, in a single platform, so that each persona gets their own user experience. Now, if you go back and look at how do we do it, right? It's not, the space is not new. Data integration is not new. We've been doing data integration for a long time, and we've been moving data around it. But the reason why this platform is so important, and it becomes really, really powerful, is that we built this thing on some key principles. One is to ensure that there is one platform that can truly empower all the personas. And we also wanted to ensure that there is a lot of business IT collaboration. So there are lot of times when you go into enterprises, things are lost between business and the IT, because business requirements are different. They need to be translated, and then IT has to actually figure out a way to, bring in the data or integrate the data. Now, it is, one of the, I think it was, there was a research that was done a long time back. One of the things that the they found out was, typically a lot of things are lost in translation between the business and the IT, because of the way business thinks about data is very different. So you lose about 6 to 8 months in order to actually kickstart any data related project, be it, enterprise data warehouse or data mart or data lake or provisioning this data. Because of the lack of communication and common understanding, there is a huge challenge. There is also the problem with point to point integrations that you build out, and that actually creates a lot more complexity within an enterprise. Um, and and because you are creating all these integrations and everything, there is a lot of complexity to manage these applications. The more importantly, I think the other important thing that customers and users are looking at is they want this platform to perform and scale. So we want to make sure that, and that has been on our, in one of the key principles for us, is that this platform should be able to support terabytes, petabytes of data movement without having any glitches. And then finally, we want to make sure that any user who is using it, there is portability. Because one of the challenges that we always see in the market is when you have new technologies come in, is there's always sort of like, you're getting into um, a more tightly coupled way to solve these problems with a particular technology and with a particular infrastructure or a cloud. uh, what we thought about it is we need to make sure that there is portability. You can actually port these application platform to any hybrid multi-cloud environment. Not only that, let's say tomorrow you want to move from a unmanaged open source CDAP into a managed platform. We actually allow you to do it so that you can actually port all these things without having to make a single line of and the way it is possible, because we have core services, and then we have the applications built on top of it. So you can run the platform, and as I said, in any cloud or on premises or multi-cloud hybrid cloud environments. And you can actually use any of these technologies that we have, like whether it is Hadoop, Mapr, Dataproc, Cloudera, Azure, AWS EMR. But the platform consists of certain key things. One is connectivity. All the connectors are available. There are metadata services that built into the product. That means, because when you build the integration applications, your metadata needs to be stored somewhere, it has to be managed somewhere. There are lifecycle management of applications, lifecycle management of pipelines. Everything is built into the product. There is a comprehensive security layer. You can not only take the base security layer, but you can extend it and integrate it with your own security. So for example, we have integrated with Google security model. But you could also take it and say, hey, you know what, I'm using a third party single sign on model and I want to integrate it with it. Absolutely, you can actually go and extend it. We also have capabilities where there are comprehensive capabilities around monitoring, management, and administration. And everything is powered through microservices. Microservices are at the heart of the CDAP platform, so that you can actually enable and start building applications. Now, what we have done is, out of the box, we provide certain applications to the customers. So we have a wrangling application which actually allows you to prepare the data. We also have a ETL, ELT visual experience to create your ETL pipelines. We allow you to create certain business rules. You can also have, there are further, like a lot more analytics capabilities that are available on CDAP, that you can actually take and start building applications. Now, you can use any of these applications out of the box, but you can also build your own application and then build your own user experience, and it becomes an accelerator in the platform. And you will see that when we go into this further sessions, we will show you how this works within the CDAP framework. Now, I talk about open, I talked about your CDAP system services and things like that. One of the things that I wanted to talk about was execution environments. You can actually take this, and because everything gets executed on Spark, you can execute it on Spark, you can execute it on a standalone Kubernetes cluster, you can actually execute it on Google Dataproc, or as I said, any other third party services. You can actually go and execute it. Now, you also, because everything is microservices, we have seen that there are a lot of people who are trying to take advantage of the flat platform, because this is an enterprise scale platform that is available. So it's so easy for anybody to go and start building. One such example I've cited over here. But anybody can go and build either a customer 360 application. If you want to build your own data provisioning system for your business, or data provisioning system for your customers, you can actually enable it. So you don't have to use the out of the box applications that we package, but you can actually go and build. And then the other important thing is, because we are a community and we believe in open source, the primary thing that we are doing is, all the experiences that we are creating, we are actually making them available first in our open source platform. And you can, as a user, you can actually build a new application and make it available to the community. And you can say that we have a cool little hub, which is like a marketplace kind of thing, where you can say, I want to add this so that people can benefit from it. So there are a lot of contributions that are happening all over the world. where users and customers are actually giving, and contributing to the platform itself. Now, again, going back to, I just want to touch upon the key features before we, and one is, we are this is open source. We invest very heavily into open source from a Google standpoint, because we believe that you can build great technologies, but the greatness lies in the fact that the technology is available and to everybody in the world. So everything is based on open source. It's a hybrid and multi-cloud environment. It allows you to have flexible runtime where you can take the workloads and run it, execute it anywhere. It comes up with comprehensive connectivity, and it has unified wrangling and pipeline. This is something that I touched upon. Business IT collaboration, a data analyst can go look at the data, wrangle the data, turn it into a pipeline, hand over it to a data engineer or ETL developer, and then you can actually switch back and forth. And then it's completely metadata driven, which means that you have governance controls. You actually have pipeline lineage, which tells you where the data is coming from, where the data is going. So this makes it really powerful. And I think finally, I want to say, how much are we betting on this platform? At Google, we are betting on CDAP because we built our managed enterprise data integration platform, Cloud Data Fusion, purely on this platform. So what we have done in principle is, we are actually building the CDAP open source and contributing to CDAP, and then we are taking, the managed components, making them available on Google Cloud. And this is where another one, the portability comes in, is you can build something on Data Fusion and then you can run it on CDAP, and vice versa. If you want a cloud managed platform that is truly powered by CDAP, you can actually use Cloud Data Fusion. So again, the our vision and strategy stays the same. We want to help everybody to have an enterprise data integration platform, that they can deploy anywhere. We will continue to, provide our support to the CDAP platform and the CDAP users and the community. So thank you very much for listening to me, and hopefully, there are a lot more great things to come on this platform.